Welcome to video 8 of the Self-Recovery Training Program. This is Self-Learning Activity number 1. I'm Terry Haines. The objective of this video is to gain practical experience in gathering information when providing the Safe Recovery Program and to learn a base question set used when providing the Safe Recovery Program. Unfortunately, self-learning activities seem to be the poor cousin of every workshop or training program. They're often viewed as being optional, but if I could encourage you to really take the time to undertake this self-learning activity, because it really is an important part of learning how to provide the Safe Recovery Program. And if you can do this in advance of watching the next couple of videos, it'd be great. First thing I want you to do is to find a cognitively intact hospital patient who has some mobility problems and is happy to talk to you about their experiences of being in hospital so far. From their medical history, I want you to find out the following information. I want you to know what their diagnosis or reason for admission is. I want you to get a sense of their current general health status and if they've had a recent fall or not. Also, I want you to find out what their current mobility prescription is. How far are they allowed to walk? Are they supposed to be using a gait aid? Are they supposed to be waiting for help from a staff member? Now, I want you to take that information, but not let the patient know that you know it. It's important because what you want to do is try and get as open and honest a response set out of a patient as you possibly can when asking the following questions. Step 2. Commence the conversation with the patient to find out the following information. And I want you to make sure that this conversation is as natural as possible so that you build a rapport with the patient. So try not to read these questions out word for word. Allow it to flow like a conversation. Find out what the patient enjoys doing normally. What the patient is looking forward to doing when they leave hospital. This is a very important piece of information that's going to be a critical part of the Safe Recovery Program when providing it in real life. Find out also how they feel about their current mobility. Ask them if they feel their mobility is better, worse, or the same as it normally is, and I'm referring to before they came into hospital. Find out how they would try to get to and from the toilet. Take note at this point of whether they describe asking for assistance from a staff member. One of the things that I subtly do as I go in to have this conversation with a patient is I'll actually grab their walking aid if it's within reach and I'll move it to the side without them noticing necessarily so that I can sit next to them. That is so that when I come to this question, I know that they would usually have to ask for assistance to be able to get the gait aid in the first place. Now, if they haven't already described asking for help to get to the toilet, specifically prompt them to see if they would ask for help. If they say that they would ask for help, find out if they would ask for help every single time, and if they would wait for the help to arrive every single time. If they say they would not ask for help, or would not wait for it to arrive every single time, find out why. What's the reason? Find out what they recall being told by the hospital staff about how much help they need to walk around. This is that mobility prescription that I spoke about before. Find out whether they agree with this mobility prescription, and if not, why they don't agree. Finally, find out if they think they'll fall while they're in hospital. The next step is to get them to imagine something, a hypothetical situation. You want them to imagine that they were going to fall over while in hospital. Now, you may need to reassure them at this point that you don't want them to fall and that this is just a hypothetical activity. So sometimes the wording I use is, I want you to put your imagination hat on. I do not want you to fall, but I want you to think about the fall that you would be most likely to have if you were to fall here in hospital. Find out if they think they would injure themselves as a result of the fall. Find out what activity they think they would be most likely doing or attempting to do when they fall. For example, do they think they would be falling over while trying to use the toilet, or while trying to walk around the bedside? Find out where they think they would fall. Do they think they would fall within the first couple of steps at the bedside, or do they think they'd make it all the way to the bathroom, perhaps? Find out what time of day the fall would take place in their mind. And find out if they think they would fall if a nurse had been with them at the time of trying to perform that activity. That is, of course, assuming that they imagined that they were trying to do the activity on their own.